Coordination and Supervision. In this module, the relevance of coordination and supervision will be explained and discussed in the context of development organizations and social welfare administration. Let us first look at the objectives of this module. The first objective is to explore the concepts of coordination and supervision. The second objective is to understand the nature and types of coordination and supervision and their importance in administration. The third objective is to examine the techniques of coordination and supervision and to comprehend their differential aspects. Coordination is a core feature of administration that integrates all activities of an organization. It is the essence of management and it affects all the functions of management, namely planning, organizing, staffing, and others. It encourages team spirit, gives proper direction, facilitates motivation, facilitates optimum utilization of resources, helps to achieve objectives expeditiously, improves relations within the organization, leads to higher efficiency, and enhances the goodwill of the organization. Supervision, on the other hand, is inherent in the hierarchical structure of the organization, under which each employee at all the levels is subject to. The supervision of the immediate superior is impinging on the subordinate. In this context, supervision runs up the hierarchy to its highest levels. The bureau chiefs supervise division heads, who in turn supervise section heads, who supervise the rank and file within the organization. Thus, all persons in the position of authority who control the work of others are supervisors. They are supervisors irrespective of their position in the official hierarchy in the organization. Coordination and supervision are therefore essential and irreplaceable principles of administration. Let's look at coordination first and try and understand the concept of coordination. Coordination, like I said, is an essential part of administration. According to Mooney, coordination is the first principle of organization and includes within itself all other principles which are subordinate to it and through which it operates. According to Gulick, there are two primary ways of achieving coordination. These are: number one, interrelating the parts of work through organizational hierarchy, and number two, instilling the dominant idea of a common objective in the minds of the people who work together in any organization. Coordination implies bringing together or integrating all the activities of an organization in order to achieve the goals of the organization. For effective achievement of organizational goals, there must be proper coordination within the organization. This concept can be explained with the theoretical contributions of some scholars like Charlesworth. According to Charlesworth, coordination is an integration of several parts into an orderly whole to achieve the purpose of the undertaking. According to White, coordination is a process causing the disjunct elements to a concentration on a complex of forces and influence which cause the mutually independent elements to act together. According to Newman, coordination is the orderly synchronization of efforts to provide the proper amount, timing and directing of execution, resulting in harmonious and unified actions to a stated objectives. On the basis of the above definitions, we can say that coordination is much more than cooperation. While coordination is the synchronization of efforts, cooperation is the collective action of one person with another or with others towards achieving a common goal. What are the types of coordination? Now, there are various typologies that have been given. The first typology is internal and external coordination. Internal coordination deals with coordinating the individual activities of persons working in any organization. It is also known as functional coordination. while external coordination deals with coordination of the activities of various units. This is also known as structural coordination. The second typology is horizontal and perpendicular coordination. Horizontal coordination deals with the coordination between one section and another section, one branch and another branch. Perpendicular coordination deals with coordination between an officer and his employee, a branch and a division, and a division and a department. The third is procedural and substantive coordination. Procedural coordination is exemplified by the structure of the organization itself that defines the pattern of formal relations among its members. Substantive coordination is concerned with the content of the activities of the organization. Let's understand the importance of coordination. As I have mentioned, coordination is very essential for the successful and smooth functioning of any organization. It is vital due to certain important reasons. What are these reasons? The first reason is ensuring economy of expenditure. Coordination helps to avoid conflicts and duplication of work. Therefore, it increases the economy in terms of manpower and resources. Secondly, to curtail the tendency among employees to attach too much significance to their own work and de-emphasize the other person's work. Thirdly, coordination also prevents the tendency of empire building, that is, expansion of one's own activities to gain more power. Next, it also helps to check the narrow perspective of specialists who engage in different and specific aspects of work. And last but not the least, to meet the requirements of a growing number of organizational units. What are the techniques of coordination? The techniques of coordination are: number one, planning. Planning is the most important means of attaining coordination. Secondly, institutional devices or organizational devices like interdepartmental meetings, conferences, committees, staff units, coordinating officers, all of these play a very important role in coordination. The standardization of procedures and methods like regulations, forms, manuals, etc., they also create common norms and procedures, thereby fostering coordination. The centralized housekeeping agencies like Director General of Supplies, Central Public Works Department, etc. also facilitate coordination. Effective and timely verbal and written communication are also important means of augmenting coordination. Inculcation of an institutional spirit among the employees, consultations, references and clearances, organizational hierarchy or scalar chain, all of these establish coordination. There are various informal means of communication also, like personal contacts, holding celebrations, functions, etc. in the organizations. These also are very successful in creating a coordinated functioning within the organization. What are the factors which limit the achievement of coordination? Number one, uncertainty of the future behavior of the individuals and groups. Number two, lack of knowledge, experience, wisdom and character among the leaders and their confused and conflicting ideas and objectives. Number three, lack of administrative skills and techniques. Number four, lack of proper methods for developing, considering, perfecting and developing new ideas and programs. Number five, the enormous growth in size and complexity of public administration. And number six, the accelerated expansion of public administration to international dimensions. Let's look at supervision now and understand the concept of supervision. Supervision is made up of two terms, super and vision. Both of these together mean overseeing. Therefore, supervision means overseeing the work of the subordinates by their superiors. Supervision has two primary purposes. What are these? Number one, to achieve coordination among the different components of an agency. Number two, to ensure that each unit of an agency accomplishes the task that has been assigned to it. Supervision involves various activities like superintendence, direction, control, guidance, inspection, and coordination. Educative and consultative aspects also form part of supervision. Thus, a supervisor's role is similar to that of a leader's role. All persons working in an organization who are in positions of power and authority, who control the work of others, are supervisors, irrespective of their position in the official hierarchy of the organization. The idea of supervision can be better understood again through some definitions which have been provided by some scholars. Henry Raining defines supervision as the direction accompanied by authority of the work of others. Terry and Franklin say that supervision means guiding and directing the efforts of the employees and other resources to accomplish stated work outputs. According to Williamson, supervision is a process by which workers are helped by a designated staff member to learn according to their needs, to make the best use of their knowledge and skills, and to improve their abilities so that they can do their jobs more effectively and with increasing satisfaction to themselves and to the agency. Let us now come to the types of supervision. Again, there is a typology. Let's begin by understanding single and plural supervision first. When a member of an organization is supervised by only one supervisor, it is known as single supervision or singular supervision. Whereas, when a member of an organization is supervised by various supervisors, it is known as plural or multiple supervision. The former is based on the principle of unity of command advocated by Henry Fayol, while the latter is based on the principle of functional freemanship advocated by F. W. Taylor. The second typology is line and functional supervision. Line supervision means that control is exercised by the people in the line of command. It is direct and commanding in nature and involves authoritative direction. On the other hand, functional supervision implies that control is exercised by the subject matter specialists like organization and methods persons, auditors, and others. It is a staff function which is advisory in nature and which influences rather than commands. The third classification is substantive and technical supervision. Millett classified supervision into substantive and technical, where the former deals with the actual work done by the agency and the latter concerns the methods by which work is done. Coming now to the components in supervision. There are three aspects or components of supervision which are important. The first is substantive or technical. This relates to the work to be done, which means that the supervisor must know the techniques and know-how of his work. Number two is institutional or objective. This relates to the work-related policies and procedures which have been set by the management. Third is personal or human, and this relates to the handling of workers, motivating the work group to perform its tasks within the policies and procedures of the organization. Coming now to the types of supervision style. Many studies have shown that the more general the degree of supervision exercised by a supervisor, the higher is the level of production by the work group. Conversely, the closer the degree of supervision exercised by a supervisor, the lower the level of output by a work group. Studies have also found that wherever the supervisors are employee-centered, the output of the employees is more than where the supervisors are production-centered. According to Likert, supervisors can be therefore classified into two types: job-centered supervisors and employee-centered supervisors. If we understand the functions of supervision, then we can see that supervision helps in number one, selecting the right person for the right job. Number two, arousing in each person an interest in his or her work and teaching him or her how to perform the work. Number 3, it helps in measuring the rating performance to be sure that the teaching has been fully effective. Number 4, administering correction where necessary and transferring employees to a more suitable work context or dismissing those for whom this proves ineffective. The next is commenting wherever praise is merited and rewarding for good work. And last but not the least, fitting each person harmoniously into the working group. Let us now try to see what are the duties of a supervisor. The duties of a supervisor entail: number 1, understanding the duties and responsibilities associated with their own position. Number 2, planning the execution of the work to be undertaken. Number 3, dividing the work among the subordinates and directing and assisting them in doing it. Number 4, improving work methods and procedures. Number 5, improving their knowledge as a technical expert and leader. Number 6, training the subordinates in their work. Number 7, evaluating the performances of the employees. Number 8, correcting mistakes and solving problems of the employees and developing discipline among them. Number 9, keeping the subordinates informed about the policies and procedures about the organization. Number 10, cooperating with colleagues and seeking their advice and assistance when needed. And the last, dealing with the suggestions and complaints of the subordinates. Let us now orient ourselves to the techniques that are used in supervision. There are 6 main techniques of supervision. These are: the first, prior approval of individual projects. The subordinate units at the field level agencies, they have to take prior approval of the superior authority, which could be the headquarters, before taking any initiative outside the framework of policy. In India, the developmental projects not only require prior permission of the department heads, but also that of appropriate ministries like the Finance Ministry or the Ministry of Environment and Forests, etc. This system of prior approval enables the superior authority to obtain detailed information about the intentions of the operating unit and to exercise control over its operations. Number 2, promulgation of service standards. The superior authority prescribes certain standards or targets for the subordinate agencies to accomplish, as these are necessary to ensure prompt and proper work by the operating agencies. Third, budgetary limitation on operations. The operating unit functions within the budgetary allotment or limits within the specified time period as fixed by the higher authorities, whereby authority is delegated, local initiative is encouraged, and central control is still retained with control over the use of money. Fourth, approval of subordinate personnel. Control over the subordinate units can be exercised by the higher authority by providing them previous approval of certain key appointments made by them. This facilitates the higher authority to supervise the recruitment process at the operating level and to enforce its own standards of competence among the operating agencies. Fifth, reporting system on work progress. Submission of periodic or special reports on activities by the operating units enables the superior authority to supervise, evaluate, and be informed of their activities and therefore exercise control over the larger operations. Number 6, inspection of results. This serves the following purposes. Number 1, to acquire information. Secondly, to know whether the existing rules, regulations and procedures are observed. Number 3, to clarify management, purpose and intention. Number 4, to facilitate performance audit. Number 5, to acquaint the top management with the operating problems faced by subordinate levels of management. Number 6, to instruct and guide the people working in an organization. Number 7, to build personal relationships of mutual acquaintance and confidence. Number 7, to improve efficiency of the operating units. Number 8, inspection and investigation both form a part of the process of supervision, but inspection is different from investigation. While the purpose of investigation is to inquire into some wrongdoing, often of criminal nature, or some alleged or suspected incident of an abuse of management authority, inspection is a part of the process of supervision which involves fact finding rather than fault finding. Investigation is post facto review and has a negative role, while inspection is more positive and is concerned with both the stages, that is, before and after. Now, what are the qualities of good supervision or a good supervisor? The characteristics are: number 1, a good command of the job content. That means an expert knowledge of the work that is to be supervised. Number 2, personal qualification, which entails integrity, cooperative spirit, evenness of temper, honesty, and an ability to attract, motivate, enthuse, and unite others. Thirdly, teaching ability. This ability to communicate ideas to the subordinates and to make them understand the management's point of view is also very critical. General outlook. It is important that the supervisor should like his or her own job and be absorbed in it. Only then can he or she inspire and lead those under him or her. Courage and fortitude. This entails the ability to take decisions, to assume responsibility, to take risks, and to act decisively. Ethical and moral integrity is also important. This implies freedom from vices, not having social disapprobation like indulgence in gambling, brawls, financial misdemeanors, etc. Administrative ability is also a core quality or component. It is the ability to manage, organize, coordinate, and direct. It's also important for the supervisor to have curiosity and intellectual ability relating to mental alertness and flexibility, as also receptivity to new ideas and new practices. Emotional control is also core, and this comprises the ability to channel emotions in the right direction. In conclusion, we can say that effective coordination brings economy and efficiency in operations. It helps to avoid administrative wastage of efforts, manpower, and resources. It can prevent duplication and overlapping of work and potential conflicts between various actors and stakeholders. Successful supervision helps to achieve coordination among the other components of an organization and ensures that each unit accomplishes its task as per assignment. In order to achieve organizational goals, coordination and supervision through divisions and subdivisions of work, purposeful linkage between activities, guiding and directing of efforts of employees and other resources is very, very essential. Coordination and supervision are therefore mandated in every organization and at all levels, and should remain a continuous process to attain the desired objectives and goals of the organization.